kind of swatted at Caitlin. Did you intend to hit her in the eye? And if so, could you just, or if not, either way, could you talk about what happened on that?
She has gotten significantly bigger. Stephanie White has confirmed it. Stephanie White has gone out here and confirmed.
Did you see what Caitlin Clark did? Everyone was saying she wasn't physically ready for the WNBA, that she was too small, too weak to handle the elite defenders. Remember when Carrington was pushing her around like a rag doll last season? Well, those days are over.
Good in the eye. I don't think it affected me. Honestly, I felt like I got good shots. They just didn't go down, and obviously a tough time for that to happen.
New footage just dropped showing Caitlin with arms that would make a linebacker jealous. She's added 8 pounds of pure muscle, and the transformation is shocking.
Been bulking up. Like that she's bulked up as a player and that she's no longer like skinny and weak.
The Indiana Fever aren't just getting a better Caitlin Clark, they're getting a whole new team because of it. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Remember when defenders would just bump Caitlin Clark off her spots like she was nothing? Those days are over. Last season was rough for Clark. Every time she tried to create space or drive to the basket, defenders treated her like a practice dummy.
Kind of swatted at Caitlin. Did you intend to hit her in the eye? And if so, could you just, or if not, either way, could you talk about what happened on that?
Carrington and other physical defenders were literally pushing her around the court, knocking her off balance whenever they wanted. It was painful to watch sometimes. The critics were absolutely feasting on this weakness. Every sports show had some analyst talking about how Clark's skinny frame was going to be her downfall in the WNBA. Even Rebecca Lobo, who knows the game better than almost anyone, pointed out that Clark's body could be the ceiling that limits her potential at the pro level. Ouch. If you watch the footage from last season, it tells the whole story. Clark getting knocked off her spots, struggling to finish at the rim with contact, and looking completely overmatched physically against the stronger defenders. There were moments where she'd make an amazing move to get past her defender, only to get bodied at the rim and miss the layup. That's the kind of stuff that had people questioning if her game would ever fully translate. But the new footage, it shows a completely different athlete.
That she wasn't able to really assert herself physically.
Clark has packed on 8 pounds of pure muscle, and you can see the difference immediately. Those arms and shoulders that used to look like they belonged on a high school player now have serious definition. She looks more like a soccer midfielder than a rookie basketball player. That's how dramatic the change is. Look at her upper body now compared to last year. The difference is night and day. Her shoulders have broadened. Her arms show muscle definition that wasn't there before. And she's carrying herself with the confidence of someone who knows she can dish out contact instead of just taking it.
She has gotten significantly bigger. Stephanie White has confirmed it. Stephanie White has gone out here and confirmed.
This transformation wasn't just a cosmetic change. It was Clark's direct response to every critic who said she couldn't handle the physical nature of the WNBA. She took those comments personally and hit the weight room with a vengeance. But here's where it gets interesting. Adding muscle can sometimes slow players down or mess with their shooting form. Did Clark sacrifice her quickness and that lightning-fast release to bulk up? Not even close. The new footage shows she's maintained that quick trigger and elite footwork while adding the strength she needs to create space against physical defenders. That elite footwork isn't just helping Clark anymore. It's completely transforming the Indiana Fever as a team. It's like watching a chess master who suddenly learned to play power moves.
So Caitlin Clark in college was not the strongest player in the world.
Last season, the Fever coaching staff had to build their entire defensive strategy around hiding Clark against physical matchups. They couldn't execute the aggressive trapping defense that Coach Christie wanted to implement because they were constantly worried about Clark getting bullied on switches. You know what's wild? The Fever would literally avoid certain defensive rotations because they knew it would leave Clark exposed against stronger players. That conservative approach left them vulnerable on so many possessions. They ranked near the bottom of the league in defensive efficiency, and teams constantly targeted this weakness. The coaching staff was designing game plans around limitations that nobody wanted to publicly acknowledge.
In fairness, her first game matchup was a tough one because her first matchup was against Dijonais.
On offense, it was even worse. The Fever couldn't run some of their best sets because Clark literally couldn't hold her position when setting screens. Watch the new practice footage. She's now setting picks that make even veteran centers nod in approval. Her screens are creating actual separation for teammates instead of just being token gestures that defenders could easily blow through. This physical evolution means Indiana can now deploy lineup combinations they couldn't even attempt last season. Clark guarding a wing player? That was unthinkable before. But now, Coach Christie can experiment with 3-guard lineups without creating an automatic mismatch nightmare on defense. This flexibility allows them to keep their best shooters on the floor in crucial late-game situations without sacrificing defensive integrity. Imagine this. The Fever can now run aggressive trap schemes on defense, forcing turnovers that lead to transition opportunities where Clark is absolutely lethal. Those quick-hitting transition plays weren't possible when they had to play such a conservative defensive style.
Basically, that she wasn't physically up to being a top guard.
And in half-court sets, Clark can now execute the pick-and-roll game from either side of the action, as the ball handler or as the screener. But here's the million-dollar question. Will all this translate to actual on-court production? Or is this just gym footage that won't matter when real games start? The early indicators suggest this isn't just cosmetic. Clark's basketball vision has always been elite. She sees passing angles and scoring opportunities that other players don't even notice. The issue was never her basketball IQ, it was whether her body could execute what her mind saw. Now, with this physical transformation, she can finally make those plays happen. And make no mistake about it, what we're witnessing is nothing short of a complete reinvention. Clark has literally eliminated her one weakness. That's the championship mentality right there.
Like, every time you're seeing Caitlin Clark out, it's like, okay, she's not as skinny as she was.
Caitlin Clark is clearly a catalyst for a business that was, and let's be honest, Caitlin to some degree financially saved the WNBA. It was hemorrhaging money for years.
When you look at this transformation, it's not just about the physical changes. It's a direct statement to every critic who said she wouldn't last in this league. This is Caitlin Clark 2.0, and the league better take notice. She's weaponized the criticism, turned it into motivation, and emerged as something entirely new. A player with unlimited potential who refused to be defined by limitations. The scary part? This is just the beginning of her evolution.